Ashes of Pompeii. The day progressed, with Lucius serving a steady stream of customers, his hands never still as he baked, sold, and chatted warmly with each person who entered his shop. Aurelia, having decided to lend a hand for the day, wrapped pastries and bagged loaves of bread, her efficient movements a testament to the many times she had helped out before. The familiarity and rhythm of their work together created an atmosphere of contentment, even as the air outside grew thick with the summer heat. As the afternoon waned, a hush fell over the bustling city. A group of somber-faced men, draped in the togas of Pompeii's elite, convened near the city's central fountain, their expressions grave. Lucius, upon delivering a basket of bread to a neighboring stall, couldn't help but overhear snippets of their conversation. Words like omens, Vesuvius, and evacuation floated to his ears, igniting a spark of concern. He lingered a moment longer. Curiosity piqued, but the need to return to his bakery pulled him away before he could grasp the full extent of their discussion. Returning to the bakery, Lucius found Aurelia packing the last of the day's unsold bread to be given to those in need, a practice they both valued deeply. Not wanting to alarm her without cause, Lucius kept the overheard conversation to himself, choosing instead to focus on the immediate tasks at hand. However, as the sky began to darken, not just from the onset of night, but from an unusual, ominous cloud gathering over Vesuvius, Lucius's concern deepened. It was then that he made a decision. He would seek out more information about the threat Vesuvius posed, not just for his and Aurelia's sake, but for the entire community of Pompeii. Their lives, so intertwined with the city they loved, faced an unseen peril, and Lucius felt a stirring of duty to protect them, even if the cost was yet unknown. Gaius Marcellus, despite the late hour, received Lucius with a mixture of surprise and solemnity. The senator's study was a trove of scrolls and books, illuminated by the flickering light of a single oil lamp. As Lucius explained his fears and the snippets of conversation he had overheard, Gaius's expression grew increasingly grave. With a heavy sigh, he unrolled a parchment, a recent correspondence from a friend in Naples, detailing strange occurrences and unease surrounding Mount Vesuvius. Gaius shared that scientists and scholars had been observing the mountain with growing concern, noting tremors and changes in the behavior of local wildlife. The senator confessed that he, too, harbored deep fears about the volcano's restlessness, fears that were corroborated by the letter. He spoke of a possible mass evacuation plan, still in its nascent stages, and the challenges it posed due to the city's large population and the disbelief of many citizens. Lucius listened intently, his heart sinking with each word. The reality of the danger facing Pompeii was far greater than he had imagined, and the decision he faced now was not just about seeking information, but about how to act swiftly and decisively in the face of this looming disaster. Aurelia listened to Lucius with a mixture of astonishment and dread, her initial skepticism fading as she saw the earnestness in his eyes. In the quiet of the bakery, surrounded by the comforting aroma of bread, the gravity of the situation settled between them. Aurelia, with her knowledge of herbs and healing, immediately began to think of ways they could prepare. She proposed creating basic survival kits containing medicinal herbs, food, and water. Although overwhelmed by the scale of the challenge ahead, they were spurred into action by a shared sense of responsibility to their community. Together, they outlined a plan to discreetly spread the word among trusted friends and neighbors, hoping to create a network of informed citizens who could, in turn, prepare their families without inciting unnecessary panic. This network would also serve as a means to share resources and aid those who might not have the means to prepare on their own. As the day unfolded, Lucius and Aurelia worked with quiet urgency, driven by a newfound purpose to safeguard as much of their community as possible against the impending disaster. In the heart of the night, while Pompeii slept, the ground beneath the city began to tremble slightly, a sinister prelude to the chaos that was to unfold. Lucius, who had taken to sleeping in the back room of the bakery to keep a vigilant watch over their preparations, felt the first faint shivers of the earth. Heart-pounding, he rushed to Aurelia's home, navigating the dark, empty streets with a lantern in his hand. The urgency of the moment made their previous endeavors seem all the more critical. Finding Aurelia already awake and sensing the change in the air, they shared a look of grim understanding. This was no longer a matter of if, but when. They decided to use the remaining time to gather their community at the bakery, a central and well-known location, hoping to offer some guidance and protection against the impending disaster. The tremors were a call to action, a somber confirmation of their fears, and a catalyst that transformed their whispered warnings into a communal rallying cry for survival. As the sun climbed higher, the ground's tremors grew more pronounced, shaking the very foundations of Pompeii. The once distant rumble of Mount Vesuvius now sounded like the furious roar of a mighty beast, eager to unleash its wrath upon the land. Amidst the growing panic, Lucius and Aurelia led their procession of townsfolk through the winding streets, their knowledge of hidden pathways and less frequented routes proving invaluable. Behind them, they could hear the cries of confusion and fear as more of Pompeii's residents awoke to the nightmare unfolding around them. Lucius, with a heavy heart, turned to see the bakery, the cornerstone of his life and dreams, disappearing in the distance, unsure if he would ever return. His resolve hardened, knowing that the safety of his friends and neighbors was now his sole priority. The air filled with ash and a red, ominous glow began to replace the daylight, casting an apocalyptic hue over their exodus.